Now I'm here at the Twin Ring Motegi circuit in Japan, and I've come here to test drive Honda's next new car for India, and that is this, the Brio Saloon, or what it's going to be called as the Honda Amaze. Now what makes this car special isn't that it's a Brio with a boot on it, it's what it's got under the hood. It's got a 1.5 litre ID Tech diesel engine that's been specially made for India by Honda. First, we'll talk about the design. From the front, this looks every bit like the Brio. However, there are a few cosmetic tweaks to mark this out as the Amaze sedan. The Brio's black air dam section on the front bumper has been painted for a more mature sedan-like look, and the grille uses 2 chrome slats for added richness. However, the changes which have turned this hatch into a sedan are from the B-pillar onwards. Honda has stretched the wheelbase by 60mm for better backseat comfort. Now, since this is a prototype version of the Amaze, we aren't actually allowed to show you the interiors of the car. But what I can tell you is that the doors are different, so getting in and out will be easier. The wheelbase has been stretched by about 60mm, so that's all added up to the legroom that's available at the back. So the Amaze is going to be a pretty good backseat machine as well. And there is the new stubby boot, but it fits in neatly and doesn't feel like an afterthought. There are big wraparound tail lamps too. The crease that shoots out from these tail lamps highlights the tipped forward stance. While the boot adds to the overall length, the Amaze stays under the crucial 4-meter mark to avail the lower 12% excise duty. Despite that, the boot ends up offering a lot of space, even more than what the Maruti Swift Dzire has on offer. Now let's see how it feels like to drive. Honda's new family of small diesel engines is called ID Tech, and the first engine in this family was unveiled recently. This was the 1.6 litre Earth Dreams diesel for the European Civic. From this motor, Honda has derived the 1.5 litre diesel engine for the Amaze. While power and performance figures have not been released, Honda claims that this motor will deliver class-leading levels of power and fuel efficiency. While we couldn't test those claims on our short drive in Japan, the engine seemed impressive from the word go. Now right from the word go, this engine seems to be quite refined. On this track, it's really very isolated, so it's very quiet. You can hear the engine a bit because at path throttle there's really no noise around here, but when it comes to refinement, it does feel very refined. You can hardly feel any vibrations on the inside. What's really impressive is the tractability of this engine. I mean, we're doing about 1000 RPM and the engine picks cleanly. There's none of that traditional turbo lag. It feels nice and responsive, well under 2000 RPM, which is really good news for city driving conditions. The use of a small fixed geometry turbo saves on cost, and it boosts bottom-end power delivery. There is a bump in power delivery at 2000 RPM, but that is barely noticeable. Simply put, the Amaze really doesn't feel all that much like a diesel, especially low down in the rev range. It feels very light on its feet, very responsive. The spread of torque on the Amaze was quite impressive, but there were some limitations of the small fixed geometry turbo. It pulls well through the mid-range as well, but when you get to the higher revs, power does trail off a bit quickly. The Amaze is meant to be a compact sedan for the family, and the suspension seems to be tuned accordingly. To cope with the extra weight of the engine, the springs and dampers have been retuned. Ground clearance has been raised slightly too. All in all, it felt a bit soft and understeery on the track. The added weight of the diesel motor makes it a bit nose-heavy. The steering though feels more meaty and positive. But for most of the daily commuters who have been waiting for Honda's first diesel, the soft ride will be of greater importance than outright handling. But to give a definitive verdict on the Amaze's ride and dynamics, we will have to wait till we get to drive it in India. Now, Honda may be coming to the diesel party late in India, but it's clear that when Honda engineers put their mind to it, they can turn up some marvelous results. This 1.5 litre ID Tech motor does seem just the right mix. Honda's promising great efficiency, great performance, and here on the track we certainly felt that it was very tractable, great to drive engine, should suit our city conditions very well, and I'm sure we'll be able to test out the claims of fuel efficiency and all when we get the car in India. Also, what's great about the Brio Saloon, the Amaze, is that they have stretched the platform. It has more space on offer. It looks very well balanced. So all in all, a really strong product. And Honda has been talking a lot about affordability. So if they manage to price this car right, this is going to be a runaway success.